Good morning. My name is Kylo Ren, and I'm about to talk about the two forces of innovation, the dark side and the light side. We know that most of you here are from the startup scene, so we know that you are on your left side, okay? Most of you have not yet reached the so acclaimed product market fit in the middle. But we know that all of you want to become a traditional, systematic, organized, predictable companies with huge cash flows and profits. This is what these companies are. Now, what they want, they're on the right side. They want, or at least part of their organizations, want to be on the left side again. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, about the two sides and about finding the balance. So it's going to be almost a bit spiritual, almost a bit soft, what we're going to talk about. Obviously, I'm not Kylo Ren. But really, this is going to be a topic. So, as you could see with Nadia and Matt before and now this panel, this is the corporate side of the PODIM agenda. So we're going to try to tailor whatever we're saying here on the stage to you, where predominantly you are, let's say, startup support system investor and so on. So what the corporates, companies who are already on the right side have to say to you that could be of your interest. I mean, you have signed up for a startup event, so why should you listen to the corporates here? Because they have interesting stuff to say. Now, since I led this into a sort of a softish, balance, yin-yang, I will just steal an idea from yesterday. Most of you were here. There was a guy, Bart, you still remember, and the photo from his holiday where he got the epiphany. There's me, there's my fiance, and there are the fucking pyramids, and there's my phone. And then after this, he introduced the check-in. I will use this semaphore check-in now with my panelists with the first round. So the first round of questions for you guys. Since none of you were here yesterday, I will tell you what this check-in, this traffic light is. It's just a morning check-in. How do you feel? So each of you will just say, are you a green? Are you a yellow? Are you a red? And by the way, those of you who are really paying attention to the schedule, you could see that we were supposed to have 7 people here. There's a guy from a company that has a red logo, is not here because he's also very red today. He got sick, so he's not here. Now with that, and we'll start with Mateja. So how do you feel from right, yellow, green? And then also, just since this is a startup event, corporates also need to practice the pitches. 1-sentence pitch of your company and then your own mission at that company. So how do you feel in company pitch and mission? And then the rest of you. Mateja, please.
Hello to all. How I feel? Yellow. Why? Because I love sun. So what is our company is the leading fashion retail in Southeastern Europe. And what is my mission? When we present to board and to hundreds of our employees our first startups projects, this was middle and top management in our group. We wear everyone the t-shirt, and our slogan in this t-shirt was "Fuck the comfort zone." So. But first I needed to change myself and put it me out of comfort zone. And what I made my big wish after 40 years. And I made last year my first tattoo. So my mission is fuck the comfort zone.
Before we move to Bojana and from Danfoss and the same 3 questions, so how do you feel, and then the company pitch and your vision. All these companies have something in common. They have all started, in a way, their own internal startup innovative initiatives. And I've actually seen the scene, because most of the employees of Sportina are ladies, and now imagine there's a party and a lot of ladies with fuck the comfort zone, and if you look this from the top down, the comfort zone you don't see, you just see the first word, so it's a bizarre look to see, but anyhow, I don't know what kind of a transition this is to Danfoss, but still, Bojana.
I actually don't get what's red, green, and yellow.
Okay, a traffic light.
This
Red, yellow, green. How do you feel now?
Oh, very green.
Very green. Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Is
Very
it
green. Maybe why, and then also the company mission. And
Oh, I have a feeling that we, that's why we are all here, that we can actually change the world.
That's
why
pretty green.
Very positive. I know I'm a little bit naive, and maybe just a little bit, just what Nadia said, reinventing every 3.5 years. I think we are in a good way also in Danfoss, even though it's a very traditional, our company with a long tradition, but still we are engineering tomorrow. This is our slogan. And mission, you said, I need to say my mission.
Your own personal mission, like what is Bojana coming to the job every day? What's your mission at Danfoss?
Yeah, I work in HR, human resources, and my personal mission is really to give all people a chance. A chance meaning give them a voice, let them, use all the potential that they have.
Good. Marko, how do you feel?
I would also go with yellow. A lot of exciting things happening, like being here, like at work, also at home. But also, each of these things come with some challenges and so forth. So I would go with something like yellow.
Okay. What is Comtrade? One sentence pitch and your mission there.
Comtrade is the largest software technology company in the area, and we are helping large companies with digital technology innovation.
Your mission there? Why do you come to the job every day?
So my mission right now is to change the world in the mobility, to help the world transition from privately owned car business model towards the world of mobility services, which I have to say is a much, much nicer world than the one we live in today.
All right, thank you, Marko. Sonja, how do you feel?
Obviously yellow. I've got pieces of yellow on me. I didn't know that in the morning when I was picking two of my dresses, which one would be. The other one would be green, actually, so obviously I'm yellow. But yellow for lots of reasons. One is sun, the other is the optimism that comes with it. But I could also be red, like energized and wanting to change the things. I could also be green, like saving the world, but the green can also be envy. Red can also be too ambitious, and yellow can be like too softy. So there's always two ways of looking at things. But today I'm like yellow.
One sentence speech of managers associations. What is it?
Well, our slogan is great results in a fine manner. And I think that really combines what we are about. In our association, there are over 1,000 of Slovene top managers, mostly top managers, but also people from middle management on. And what we strive for is bringing excellence in management, and that has to be proven by the business results. So if you don't have good results in business, in numbers, then probably you're not doing your company a favor and the people that you lead. But if what is one part, the other part is how. And that has to be in a fine manner. It has to be ethically proven. It has to be with lots of empathy and understanding. Because let's face it, you cannot get in a long run to have good results unless you deal very good with the people you work with the suppliers, with customers. So you have to have 360 degrees circle around you, pretty well perfect.
That was a long one-sentence pitch.
Well, I didn't make any comma in between, have you noticed?
I know. Now, is this also your mission or is there more to it? What's your personal mission? Why does Sonja come to office every day?
Also, as we always, every miss in the world wants a world peace and happiness, sort of like that also wants Sonja, but Sonja wants it in a business environment. I believe that we will never live very nicely unless we have good economies. And so I feel great responsibility for top management that sets the tone for the companies, and they play, or we play, a really important role in how the society works and what the society can afford.
Perfect. Thank you. Fredrik, nice to meet you. We haven't met yet here on
Nice to
stage.
meet you as well.
How do you feel?
Feel good, must say. Very excited.
Green? Okay. One sentence speech of Bonnier, which might be hard because you're like everywhere.
Yeah, I think I can pull it off, actually.
People don't know Bonnier. Maybe people know, Finanza Daily. That's part of Bonnier, but Bonnier is much, much more than that. So maybe.
Exactly. So Bonnier is like a Axel Springer-sized publisher, based primarily in Scandinavia. So it's the largest media company in the Nordics. And if I'm going to pitch, I would say that you all should be with us if you have cool startups, since we've been in the business for over 200 years, and we don't plan for quarters, but for generations.
Yeah, that is a difference in the family-run businesses than the other ones. Now, why does Fredrik come to the job every day? What's your mission? What do you want to do? And you are not part of the Bonnier family?
Sorry?
You're in the Bonnier family as in ownership or not?
No, God, no.
Okay, so you have a different mission. So why do you come to Bonnier every day?
So, I mean, as most of you probably know, the media business has some challenges for sure. So I like to be a driving force in actually pulling off the transformation and conquering those challenges. That's my main mission.
Good. Thank you very much. Last but not least, how do you feel, Valter?
What do you think?
I think you're green. Greenish,
I
yellowish?
feel red.
You feel red?
Yeah, under alert. I don't know how are you going to challenge me, and then I have to.
That's good. That's good. So you have this 90-second response now.
And also business-wise,
Okay.
it's more or less red.
Okay.
I would like green, but it's red.
Going toward green, starting with red.
Never is good enough.
Now we know the name.
Business-wise, green means everything good, but it's not. This is just a wish.
So artificially, you're pushing yourself into the red, so not to be complacent.
Yeah. And my mission, I was thinking what to say, and I think that my mission is 70% of my time is to convincing others what is good to do.
Now, we skipped the Kolektor part, so we know the name, but maybe most of the people don't know what Kolektor is in. So the pitch, a short description of who is Kolektor, what does
one
Kolektor do?
is traditional picture and now one is new picture. Traditional picture is we are multinational company with transnational mentality presented all over the world. We are number one in niches, in automotive, in energy. But nowadays, we are going to new journey, to digital transformation. And we are looking there, partners who are going to go to this journey with us.
Good. That was just a short intro so that you know who we have on stage, what do they think about, how do they feel, and the companies they're coming from. Now the second round of questions. And by the way, if there are questions from the audience, just use the app, which will be then showing the questions, not just the Twitter. Now, I'm obviously exaggerating with this picture. None of your companies is a sea of cubicles, okay? But intentionally exaggerating because, yes, you are a well-organized companies with a lot of history, a lot of employees and so on. And let's say someday there's a guy in one of the cubicles, burning with a desire to create a startup, like, I want to break out, I want to do a startup, I want to do a new story. Or there's a startup already outside. What would you say, why should a guy inside your company start whatever their idea is with you internally or with your support, with your investment, not independently? So there's a guy in Sportina, Danfoss, Comtrade, and so on, wanting to do a startup, and then you will go and talk to him and say like, hey, do it with us. How would you convince it? What are your arguments? Mateja.
I would like to say that ourselves, that we have free ingredients for success, and which we believe are very important to start a startup. So we have know-how, heart, and like we said in Sportina, we have balls. And why know-how? Sportina Group is a company with 25 years of experience, has learned and worked with the best brands, fashion brands in Europe and in the world. We were a startup with only one shop in Bled 25 years ago, and we grow from one to now we have 326 shops, and until end of this year we will have I think 350 stores, and we have powerful system which can support new startups and all operation and direct access to 800,000 loyalty customers. And we are present in 10 countries, yes, but the end of this year we will be in 12 countries. So this is our know-how, but we know that we need heart. Why heart? Because heart is the machine of everything. And we love fashion, we love our job, and we love teamwork. And it's true that we start with like a family company, but nowadays we see ourselves like a big family with 2,000 employees. And in the end, you don't need only heart, you need, like I said, in Sportina balls. And we are very cooperative, fast, flexible. We love new things, and we believe that sometimes you need to take some risk, especially regarding innovation, and especially for new business opportunities.
All right. So basically, what you would say to percentage-wise, it would be a lady, a girl in your company. You're like, I want to do a startup. You say like, well, we're a growth company. We were growing. We're still growing, expanding. We have courage. We have balls. We have heart. So do it with us. So that's you already have the spirit in it. Now, how does it look like in Danfoss? Somebody comes to you. You're obviously a talent director working in HR. And like, I'm trying to break out. I want to go free. I want to do startup. And you say like, man, you can do it inside Danfoss. Why?
First, I'm not completely sure I would say, yes, you can do it inside Danfoss.
I know.
Because, you know, if somebody has the idea to improve something for, like, very much connected to our business, I would say, yes, go for it through the normal channels. Like, we are not starting a startup as a legal unit and so on. So that's something you can't experience in Danfoss right now. But you can experience much more, and it could be much easier, but just following the normal paths that we have right now. And then at the end, you can use the brand, you can use the network we have, you can use the global market that is there for you. So, and it's exciting, you know, area that we are working in. But if there is somebody who is really, really desiring to go on a startup road journey, I would say go for it, but maybe not inside Danfoss. I would say, you know, if you want to experience the speed, you know, that you have all the functions that you have to have in one person or in 5 people, then this is not the place to be. And unfortunately for the person, maybe. But then there are also some risks associated with that, right? So if you're a startup, and most of you know, and if you fail, you don't have salary next month. If you do it in a company, maybe a little bit slower, maybe not choosing everything, you know, what you really want, then you still have a salary if you fail. So that's the big, big difference. So I think we are driven by different motivators. Okay. And, you know, somebody will just have to choose. Maybe now, in this first 10 years of my career, I will work in a corporate world to learn the processes, to, you know, to experience the network, to, you know, have the knowledge, because in corporate world there is really a lot of knowledge that you can get. But maybe the next 10 years I will go out and be independent. And maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, I mean, the third decade, I will go back. So why not? So just be flexible. And agile in the companies needs to be the same.
Good. 2 points of advice for you guys in the startup world. We will be covering a couple of topics. So I will be challenging it a bit, and they will be saying what's good, what's not good. Whenever something is not good, when they say like, nah, this is not perfect, we want to improve here and so on, just listen to it. Whatever big companies are saying they are not satisfied or there's a problem, an issue, it's always an opportunity for you if you are close to that. So when they say like, this is something that we see as trying to improve, like Valter said, I'm always in red, so there's always room for improvement. You know, think about it. Is there something you can help them with? So that's one thing. The other one, which Bojana just reminded me, is I talked recently with a guy who was in a startup, actually started in a startup weekend, and then I met him and was like, so how's that idea going? He said like, yeah, we folded, we ran out of bootstrapping cash and so on, so what are you doing now? He said, well, now I'm a developer in a bigger company. And then I said, in other words, you are raising for another bootstrapping round. That's basically what the startuppers are doing. You know, they didn't succeed, then they go in the salary, saving, and then raising for another bootstrapping round. But while you are doing it, okay, because I think when just before you start, you are somewhere in a salary, in some sort of a position, waiting for another moment when you have enough cash to start again. Look inside your company. Maybe you can do it inside your company, something that you have been waiting to do. That's the mission here. Marko, so there's a guy in Comtrade trying to break out. What will you say?
So we are growing right now, and we want to grow even more in the future. And we understand that the growth will not come only from existing business. In fact, most of the growth probably will come from the business that we're not involved in today. And therefore, we do need this kind of, let's say, exploration, this kind of startup activities. And we need them inside of the company, but we also want to partner outside of the company. So I think that is the reason. Now, what is exactly the answer? Of course, then depends on the details, you know. So we need to understand what are our core competences, what our expertise is, what are our benefits, and what the startup wants to do. And if there's a match, then definitely we believe it makes sense to partner. We have a lot of these discussions. For example, me personally, as I'm starting something new in the company, I really have on daily basis discussions with different stakeholders, including startups locally, globally, and so forth. And many times we see there are good reasons to partner, actually. That there are benefits that Comtrade can provide, such as access to market. We work with some of the global leaders in different areas, like traveling, like smart energy, like medical devices, and so forth. And this can mean a lot to a small startup that's looking, you know, for the first key client and so forth. For us, being connected in this ecosystem, so having not just, let's say, 1,500 employees that we have, but basically being connected to thousands of startups with different ideas, different technology, I think this gives us exponential growth possibilities.
Good. Thank you, Marko. Now Sonja, your answers will not be specific to one company with one culture and one set of problems, but a more broader view, because you have a broader view with many companies through the Management Association. What is your take on this? Well,
I can imagine like a startup as a Snow White, and there are 7 reasons why to stay within the company as 7 dwarfs. One of them is faster development. If you're in a secure environment, you can develop faster. Then there's less vulnerability. You're less exposed if you're in a little bit safer environment as a corporate world can offer. Third, your reach can be much further. Like you put it up, scalability is a better option, and often that is the reason why startups, either they're inside or come from the outside and are brought into the corporate world, are choose to do for that. Then startup can be inside a company, can have a great testing field. For instance, if you're in a fashion and you have a startup connection with Sportina, you already have your channels where you can test your ideas pretty fast. Then fifth one would be the corporate experience. All of the companies that are around for some time and have good volume and lots of employees, they probably did something right in the past, and they have a lot of cumulative experiences there that can be very beneficial to a startup just as well. Then there is also a brand connection. I guess that if you're a startup and you're in connection with Kolektor, it's probably easier for some things to do or do it faster than if you're just, a startup with a funky name that nobody ever heard of. So that brand connection has also some value. The seventh word would be more secure finance. I guess that the startups, I'm not that familiar with the scene, but I can just imagine that a lot of energy goes into providing your next finance circle. And if you have that within the company you are, then a huge burden is laying off of you. But saying that, in a story of Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, there's also a wicked witch. And the corpo can also be a very wicked witch. If they can choke you, they cannot allow you to actually expand, and you can be so much different for the culture inside the company that can destroy the company, the startup company. And even great companies have a reputation of turning perfect things into average. And if you find a way to avoid that, then that's your road. But if you see that you'll be just smuggled in a bigger company, then that is not the way for you.
A great set of reasons. And by the way, the wicked bitch question will be
Dark
the next
Force.
one. So this is the wicked bitch part. But we're gonna tackle this after. Bojana has a VC arm, right? So obviously you are in this space. So, but then again, you're just one of the VCs around. So if there's a startup saying like, should I go with Bojana? Should I go with this one? What do you say? First for the startups, and then also people inside. So why with Bojana?
I think the reasons are pretty similar actually, if you're inside or outside. And I think you can see sort of three main reasons. The first one being brand value. Bojana might not be sort of a household name down here, but up in the north, it's extremely strong. And also connected to that is all the media assets that goes around it. So you have like the biggest national TV channels, the biggest dailies, the biggest tabloids. It's very strong media positions. So the marketing power, the inherent marketing power of the company to actually market and get your product out there and get visible is extremely strong. Thirdly, which I think actually differs us from the other VC firms out there, is the longevity. That if you're in venture capital, usually I think you have a 5-year horizon for an investment, for example, where you put in resources and efforts in the first 2, 3, and then this has to capitalize over the last ones. We don't work like that. We have sort of a very long-term commitment and can be quite flexible sort of in setting up different financial models to actually make this work. So a 10, 20-year perspective could easily be found within our companies, and we have many examples of that actually. So. All
right, thanks. So for all of you who are, let's say, in a media space and don't want to get an investor who will start bugging you in about 3, 4, 5 years time, like we need to push for exit, maybe you should try with Bojana because they will give you a longer run. Valter, so you are about to kick off an incubator, startup incubator.
Yep.
Now you will be getting applications, trying to invite the startups in, but then again, we are in the hype of incubators, accelerators and so on. Why should they go with Kolektor?
Yeah. When you are in the clouds, it's one story. When you are landed, it's another story. It's real life, it's a battlefield. And what do you need for battlefield?
A microphone closer.
What do you need for battlefield? You need winning mentality. You need attractive, let's say, fight. And you need equipment. and mentality. Through our, let's say, intellectual property, property and in organizational capital, we are raising new generations of excellent people and also excellent leaders. And these leaders would like to be, or all of us would like to be winners, and we are going to fight for it in every day, everywhere. So you need this support, otherwise the story is immediately broken. Then secondly, attractive business. We are going to very attractive business. This is digital world, and you know, there is a huge opportunity for all of us, and when you are going to mingle us, there is ultimately coming to the induction of new ideas. And last but not least, you need, like I said, equipment, you need working environment. We are giving you the whole set of supporting functions, then coaching, what is very important. We have a lot of experts from different fields like business developers, business model developers, management leaders, etc. And you need also networking. We are connected to the, let's say, suppliers, to the customers, to the universities and the institutes. So this would be our value proposition to you.
Okay, if you would ask me, I would stress the first part, because I mean, when you are pitching to the startups, because a lot of accelerators, incubators, a lot of these shows, including PODIM, is a lot about show. Yesterday evening we had a show. Here was the videos and all nice and so on.
This is show.
And you will say like, yeah, the show is fine, the pitching is fine, but then again, Industry 4.0 is hard fight, it's battlefield. We are soldiers, we're gonna make you special forces, so you wanna come work with us. Not on stage, on show with other guys.
Yes.
That would be my pitch if I would do it for you. Try to do it that way. That might make a difference. Now, the wicked pitch part. So, basically what we were talking here is interesting. You all have these initiatives, startups, innovatives, and all this, it's all fine. But truth be told, that's only about 5, 10, 15, max 20% of what you guys, your companies are doing, because you need to be focused on your daily business, execution, and then, wanting or not, these initiatives which we are discussing now, they're fine and so on, but they start disturbing the other part and vice versa. And it's a huge issue. I know this, and companies who have done this know this. How do you balance it? How do you balance the two sides, the exploitation side, the predictable side, and then the exploration side, the chaotic, the startup side? It's a fine balance, and I know that everybody's struggling with it, but still, have a go with how are you guys doing it at your company? You know, the chaotic side, the startup side, and the traditional one.
So in Sportina, entrepreneurship is our DNA for sure. Even though we have forgotten our roots for a little bit along the way of expansion. So that's why last year we started with working of this structure. We know that we have a lot of colleagues who have ideas. They wish to participate and they want to work with this, but they don't know how. So especially between our salesperson and this person have the most information about our customers' problem. So that's why we organized the first startup initiative. And the goal was only to encourage and to empower these people to create new business ideas, to create our strategic, and to involve them to the future development of our company. So the results are fascinating. We're following this first round of Startup Weekend, and we are already implementing two ideas through products. in our business, and we included most of ideas in our strategic. And in the future, we wish to allocate 20% of resources to new crazy ideas. And like you said before, 80% is our core business. But also, an outcome of this startup initiative, today we are going in Sportina through the digital transformation. And we hope the result of this will be the organization which combines two forces. But I want to mention that what kind of this little project when we start with this startup, they change the mind of our employees, and now I saw him and I see every day that they start to look differently to everyday job, and they began to make suggestions, to ideas, to little innovations. And what is the most important is that they feel that they have power to change something in our company.
In short, basically, you can feel that the culture is starting changing a bit because of that. Yeah?
Yes, a lot.
Now, that's all. That's a nice picture. That's really nice to hear and so on. But we all know that's not everything. So there are problems. I will not poke into you for that. But the rest of you, maybe touch also the stuff that's not going on. Because on this slide here, it says, only about 2% of the companies get it right, get the balance right. So there are issues. There are big issues. And by the way, this chart is from a really good TED Talk on this topic. You can search it, TED BCS, so Boston Consulting Group had a TED event. And this is from there, a really good talk. Now, Bojana, in Danfoss, the balance, yes, no, how much are you disturbing each other? The traditional one, ordnung discipline, and the crazy one?
Well, we are trying every day to disturb it, and what we have done a year ago is really disturbing it. Actually, it started more as the experiment, where really from the bottom up, a group of people, youngsters, primarily Gen Yers, sitting over there, some of them, they have this crazy idea that this, Titanic world is just not going anymore. So what can we do differently? And they really read a lot of case stories. They partner with you, Matej, which is, I think, really one of the best things we have done at that point. And then you have created an event called 24 Idea, meaning in one day, you can you can develop idea from, something that there is in your head to something very tangible that you can go on the market with. And
let me push you a little, because this is, again, you're picturing a nice story, which is okay, fine. There are nice parts of it, but I want to push you guys a little bit into the dirty stuff. All know that knowing when corporates are on stage, they never want to speak about stuff that doesn't work. That's just the rule. That's when you're in a corporation, you don't speak about the stuff that doesn't work. But I would really like you to push there. So what's not working? Because this is the value. Because they will end up in this situation. They was like, oh fuck, I was at PODIM. They were saying everything is beautiful. There was this event, and then things are not working that way. So please tell them the truth. I mean, there is a nice part. It always is, but also what's not working.
I'm looking at Gasper over there. He has
Gasper,
been
you can come and comment this if you want.
In the last year or so, he has been working like 150%. So I think that's the main issue. The main issue is that he still has his old job and his manager who is really pushing him, and maybe not even the management, maybe more colleagues. He's again on this 24 Idea meeting. But
if I can drop, because I know a little bit the story, most probably there are guys right now in Danfoss saying like, why the fuck are these people at PODIM today and yesterday? So these are the issues that you will be facing, and it's all good that they will be growing, they will be learning and so on, but this will happen in a big company. When you start the things, this will start happening. It's innocent, but they will say like, so Gasper is missing today again, so where is he? PODIM. How strategic is this to Danfoss? This kind of shit will start happening. And I really want us to talk about this. I see Marko.
I would still like to say that, when it comes then to the top management in Ljubljana, Danfoss, and also in the executive committee of the whole group, I mean, they wouldn't say that, what you just said. They would say, yeah, great, Gaspar is at PODIM, he will learn about startup, right? So I would say maybe 2-3 years ago, it wouldn't be the case like that. So right now, we really have a strong hype in the organization, in top management. We just have to use it, and somehow I'm pushing them a little bit to be in that situation.
You said top management twice, maybe intentionally avoiding the middle management, which is not that happy about the things, usually.
Yeah, you said it sometimes, it's in their KPIs, and it's the bonuses. I mean, they still need to bring productivity and so on. So we need to tackle the issue, from different angles.
Marko, you were eager to pitch in.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely would like to acknowledge your point. So I think you're fully right, But you need to understand, if you come from a large company, and I think we're more medium-sized globally, but let's say large companies, you have a brand, you have people who care about the brand, and now you will come to a stage and say, oof, we're struggling with innovation, we're not good at it, and so forth. It's very hard to do this, For us, it's a little bit easier because we are actually pitching this. We go to clients and we say, you're a large company, global company, and you will have big issues with disruptive innovation. And if you look at it, that's a fact, Let's look at car industry. So I think everybody, top management knows the future is mobility services. Today, about 5 billion trips per year are done through mobility services digital platforms. 95% of this comes from startups. Uber, Didi Kuwaiti, Ola Cabs, BlaBlaCars, companies like that. Why did these famous companies that are inventing so great, BMW, Volkswagen, GM, you name it, why did they miss this, How is this possible, They are 100 years on the market, they're investing billions of dollars in research and so forth. Why did they miss the obvious, And the reason for this is, while at the top level, everybody says, yes, we understand, the world is changing fast, we need to invest in disruptive innovation and so forth. But then comes, a project, and, you say, okay, we invest in this disruptive innovation. So when do we expect the results? What do we put in budget for next year, for the next 3 years, and so forth? We don't know. And then, 6 months passes, 12 months passes, and good news, we failed. We are pivoting now. Interesting. How about the other business unit? Well, they have 150 million euros and fighting for this profit every day and so forth. And actually, they have now a new project, 20 million euro, and they need a team, they need experts. And what are your experts doing right now? Yeah, they are now pivoting into something new. What will be the revenue of this something new in the next 2 years? I don't know. I have no idea. Frankly, nothing, probably, And now show me a CEO who says, no, we don't go for 20 million, this contract is on my table, I just need to sign it. We don't go for that, we go for this team because we believe not 2 years from now, but 5 years from now, that will be the future. So that CEO, I think, needs to, first of all, believe that he will be in the company 5 years from now. That CEO needs to have tremendous support from owners. I mean, imagine there's an owner that tells you, wait a second, you did not go for 20 million, let's say excellent profitability, and you went for this, which most likely 6 months from now, it will be another failure, Now, that is why in corporates, this really disruptive innovation, it's very hard to do. You go for innovation, but you are it's like a magnet, you go towards the existing business. For example, if you look at car makers, I mean, incredible innovation around the car.
That's the magnet.
Yeah, that's the magnet. Incredible innovation around the car, So what BMW is doing, Daimler, around laser lights, laser front lights, There are over 1,000 engineers today that are developing next generation of laser lights. Unbelievable, But why are they not developing Uber? It's so obvious, But no, the laser lights, they know how to sell it, it's clear and so forth. The other thing is not. So I think that's the reason. And it has to do with culture. It has to do with really deep understanding of what's happening, strong leadership, strong alignment, having the trust from the owner down to the teams, because if you have fear, and in large organizations you will have fear, it will be based on control, it will be based on fear, you will decide for the safe choices. And safe choices is existing business, contract that is on the table, revenue that I can see, profit that I can book today versus profit that maybe will come 5 years from now. So that's the reason.
Good, thanks. I knew you had strong opinion about that. And by the way, you could sense some challenges here. Challenges equal opportunities for you if you are into that kind of solving whatever they were saying here. Now, Sonja, I know you have a little bit different view on this, so it's not something so new. It's been happening before. So what's your take on it?
Well, this looking for the balance between innovation and day-to-day operation has been since ever. And like a decade ago, we called that a two-tier strategy. You would have to have one-tier strategy for daily operations, how to do that, how to get the regular contracts, how to get the profitability, and also you would have to have a strategy of how to keep finding new things that you will do in the future. So to have this, maybe not really the reinvention part of the company, but how to prolong our life with new and new services and products that we will produce. So that's not new. But what is new is the speed of the changes happening. And the scare in the corporate world that you can feel of the competition coming from unknown sources. And somebody quoted that as there are new players coming in and they're not respecting the rules of the game, because they completely changed the game. And that's a little bit of people from the regular industry, whether there's automobile industry or media or whatever, feel a little bit offended, a little bit actually offended by the newcomers, that they're not respecting something that they built so many years ago, and that they can really even walk away with making huge mistakes. Like for car industry, that's the Elon Musk with Tesla. He can afford to make a huge mistake because he's that rich. And his mistakes are, or not mistakes, or doing things right, are changing the whole industry that's happening, and other trends also there. But what also changed a little bit, and what Marko said about the top management, it has a lot of times a psychological thing has an impact on how you will lead a business. And that psychological fact in the top management can be, will I be there for the results? Will I be there for the benefits? If I'm not there, then that's not my problem. Let somebody else do it, because it will be a lot of stress. My head is on the table. The company could be on a table. I'm taking a huge risk in going into something new. So why risk it if there's a huge chance that I will not be there? And the tenure of top management is dropping significantly since years. The same as Nadia showed before, those cycles that they're dropping just as well as the tenure of how long a top management is there. But coming with that is also that the speed of change is so high that you actually might be there, because it's changing so quickly. And I think that's also one part why big corporations are looking so much more intensively into startup communities, because startup communities now can come in, maybe not really a couple of years, but let's say even 10 years, you can come to a unicorn situation. And 10 years is a short period of time.
Bojana, pitch in.
You know, is the speed of change really that fast? I mean, it's really this what's going on. It's really, you know, everything is different.
Marko's saying yes.
Yeah?
So we work with a lot of global companies. And I have to say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they said, we are so afraid of what number 1 is doing, what number 3 is doing, if they were number 2. Today, we come to number 2 company, number 3, or number 1, and they say, we don't care what number 1 is doing, what number 2 is doing. We are afraid of the startups. We are, you know, car makers, look at alliances now, you know. They're not afraid, you know. BMW is not afraid of Daimler, is not afraid of Audi. They're afraid of Uber, they're afraid of Didi and so forth. Yes, things are dramatically changing. So top management of large corporation today is not afraid of the big guns, but of this disruptive innovation. But it depends industry per industry. I do
If you would
agree.
be in the panel 30 years ago, what would you be wearing?
So what?
What would you be wearing?
So
how this would be different than what you are wearing today?
So 30 years ago, I was a student, so jeans and a t-shirt.
And your jeans, right?
Yeah.
Would still be, tailored like your trousers today, and they would still be buttons, right?
Yes.
So what has changed in that in the last 30 years?
So
or maybe 100 or
what
200
has changed
years?
is, so as I went to more exploit, as I went to the management career, I started dressing in a suit, and now as I lead the exploration part, I dress again mostly in jeans, unless when I'm on stage
but you
sometimes.
still use buttons.
We might want to skip the dress code a little bit, but there's something that Sonja wants to pitch in, and then we need to cover briefly the two questions, a couple of questions that are up there, and then wrap up because we only have five minutes.
I'll stay with the dresses. 30 years ago, nobody would wear a dress on this podium. 30 years ago, this panel would not have half of the half women present here. So that's also one part of the changes happening, and it touches upon every nation.
Good. Fredrik, now you will touch briefly the balance question, but then again there's the question waiting for you for a while. So at Bonnier, how you react to proactive people on the bottom that approach your group with it switched. Okay. Can you stop doing this? It's up there, yeah, okay. How you react to, on the top, to proactive people that approach your group with disruptive ideas, defensive or open for collaboration, how you enhance that? So this in combination with that one.
Good question. I mean, first of all, Bonnie is a really big company, and I think depending on who you meet, you can get a different reply. But if you would come to me, I would generally be quite open, since we already have been for some 7 years, partly by necessity, but also by strategic insight, forced to do a lot of product development and exploit our audiences in new and better ways. And truth be told, I mean, you can only go so far with the current skill set you have. So sometimes you actually need to bring in external forces that also can sort of work as a driving force to change your current business. Because much as we have addressed here in this panel already, the issue, I think, is about juggling multiple business models. So we have one business model for us then in like print or linear TV or whatever it might be, and then you have a digital one which is completely different to some extent. And somehow you need to find a balance and invest money you don't have, and there's a structural decline, and it means a lot of factors at the same time. So.
Okay, since we're running out of time, maybe whoever wants to tackle these both questions, because they're pretty similar. So it's from Clement and Gasper. So when you go into this, some sort of a startup initiative, okay, this is extra load, wanting or not. How do you motivate? Okay, there needs to be some internal motivation, obviously, but then again, how do you motivate managers to support it? And also, what's in it for the employee going into this? Whoever wants to tackle this, if you guys have this. Okay, Sonja.
If we're talking about top managers or even more about middle management, I think it's more a question for middle management.
For middle management, they have this issue.
You build a culture of that a company has to have each year, let's say 30% of revenues coming from new ideas, and you put bonuses on that, and not a small part. If that's something you want to go for it, that has to be something that people really feel that I am in charge and responsible for this. And if that happens, I also, it's not that much, I think, the bonuses, that is the money you get, but it's that, that you get it through a hat that is your responsibility.
Good. Anybody else wants to pitch in, just shortly?
Yeah, I would say it's the understanding of the two worlds. So one need to understand the other, one need to understand, coach the other, and that's the issue. The bonus, the structure, we need to figure it out, yes, but it's the mindset, like I said at the beginning. It's this what we need to learn, how to live together, the old and the new world.
Okay, good. Now, the really last one, in 1 minute. Just one question. This is the Jedi superpower magic wand question. Just one, not three, as I announced to you. If you would have this power, what would you change in order for your internal corporate startup initiatives to be faster, more effective? Just a quick round. One thing you would make happen, Mateja.
I need to choose a critical mass of right people with right competence.
Right people, right competence. Bojana.
It's courage, and it could be in middle management.
Courage in middle management.
A lot of detailed knowledge. So I think it's all about knowledge. And how do you get knowledge very, very fast?
Detailed knowledge. Sonja.
Not can-do attitude, but will-do attitude.
Will-do attitude. Fredrik.
I would focus on breaking internal silos to really be able to leverage the group's strength, because that is...
With magic powers, you would break internal cycles. And last but not least, Valter, what would you do?
I would focus just on exceptional people. So
Exceptional people.
exceptional people. All others is commodity.
Everything else is commodity, so exception people. With that, I think this is a perfect conclusion of this panel. Thank you very much, all the panelists, and one big applause for them. Thank you.